Look at me, right on time. Hey, hey, welcome. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie Perry. When I was 41, I quit my job as a hospital pharmacy technician to travel for a year on savings. Now I'm a year-round house sitter, except for during Corona time. We'll talk about that. I'm the creator of House Sitter School, and I help people become house sitters. If you're interested in that, and I also help Black women take a year off of work to travel on a budget. Okay. I help you take a sabbatical. If you're interested in these things, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and ring that notification bell, and you'll be notified when I post a new video. Welcome. So I'm going to just type, I can't type and talk, I'm sorry, but I'm going to type in the chat. Welcome. Welcome, guys. Say hi. All right. I'm sorry, I can't talk and type. Okay, so like I said, I am a house sitter. Today, we're going to talk specifically about house sitting now and what house sitting is going to look like in the future. I have some notes because that's what I do. So my clipboard, I have notes. We're going to talk today about basically what you want. So ask me questions, please. But I have prepared to talk about, of course, the normal house sitting questions. People generally have the same few questions about house sitting. What is it? Who can house sit? Do I have to pet sit? That kind of thing. We're going to talk about what's going on with house sitting today. We're going to talk about when will house sitting bounce back? How will house sitting bounce back? Where will house sitting bounce back first? We'll talk about also what's going to be different in the world of house sitting going in the future, because all travel is going to be different. So we'll talk about these things, but like I said, don't be shy. Go ahead and leave your questions, your comments in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I'll see them. Yeah. So hi. Oh, hey, Erica. Long time no see. That was Dancer 54. I know you. I know your name, but I'm sorry, I can't remember right now. But hi, friends. Hi, Sheeta. Hey, girl. Hey. All right. So we're going to talk about what's going on with house sitting. For me, my house sits that I had planned, I had a full month planned in Mexico in May, and I had a house sit planned in July during Essence Festival in New Orleans that I was so excited about. Of course, both of those have been canceled. It took a long time. Hey, Janice. It took a long time for both of those house sits to formally say we're canceling for different reasons. I think the July one just felt like, oh, we'll keep waiting. And then my Mexico house sit was with a regular who I've house sat with for before. And Mexico, strangely enough, has not restricted travel. So it was still a possibility that she would be able to come into the US. She was coming into the US and I was going to go into Mexico. And it just took a long time it didn't take a long time, but we just had to say, neither one of us wants to leave where we are. I'm in Delaware with my mom and dad. I didn't want to go somewhere and then have to be quarantined when I got there, because rules change and I didn't know if that would happen. And she didn't want to be quarantined crossing over to come here. So that's that. Those house sits are done, and they have not been rescheduled or anything. They're just canceled. The strange thing is that on Trusted House Sitters site, there are still house sits out there. There are still people house sitting locally. Hi, Tisha. There are people still house sitting locally and even within the next few states. I think that most people aren't flying right now, but people will still drive to go somewhere and they will still bring a house sitter in while they're going somewhere. So I have a friend who just house sat for, she's in Atlanta. She house sat for another Atlanta person who was going to Florida to quarantine in Florida because the Florida beaches, right, Sheeta, the Florida beaches are still in business. So there are still domestic house sits happening. I would not recommend taking a house sit now outside of your home, but this is the first place that house sits will recover, right? The house, just like the whole travel industry, the house sitting industry will recover domestically first. And so if you're looking to, she just said, I don't know anything about those beaches. So those, Florida is, I don't know. I think Florida is like, they have like some sort of desire to just be chopped off from the country. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. So, okay, so let me say this the right way. House sitting locally will be the first way that house sitting will bounce back, right? So the first thing will be that someone in your city will be like, I'm going somewhere else and I need a house sitter. It'll be a while, and I don't have anything more than a while before you'll be able to house sit internationally. I don't know when other countries are going to let us back in. I don't know if anybody knows that. China seems to be, a lot of China is back in business. You know, they're back to work and back to school, but they're not talking about letting flights in and letting foreigners in. And then other countries are going to follow suit. There's going to be like a rolling opening. The world is going to reopen slowly. And so say the same for house sitting. House sitting will reopen, but it will reopen slowly, and it'll start with domestic house sitting. But the good news is, for a new house sitter, house sitting locally is a fantastic way to get your first house sit in the books, get your 5-star review out there, get yourself that reference, so that when things are back to normal, or as normal as they're going to be, you are good to go. Okay, so a couple of things about house sitting. House sitting is just staying in someone's house while they're away. There are house sits that are pet sits. There are house sits that are not pet sits. The majority of house sits are pet sits. You have to take care of their cat or their dog while they're gone. There are some that are just, water the plants and bring in the mail. So if you're available for long periods of time, if you have 3 months, you can take a 3-month house sit. You may have a better chance of getting those. But for the most part, when we talk house sitting, we're talking about pet sitting. But keep in mind that not all pets are cats and dogs. There are fish sits and rabbits and chickens, a lot of backyard chicken house sits, that kind of thing. And so there are people still moving, still traveling. I just saw a flight on American Airlines. It was a flight on a video, and the flight was mostly, I think they said the flight was 90% full. And they showed, the passengers, and some of them didn't even have masks on. So people are still going places. Anytime someone is going places, anytime people are traveling, people need someone to stay home and take care of their pets. Because I don't know if y'all have seen this, that a lot of people have started adopting. They're like, the humane societies and stuff are running out of animals because more people, while they're home quarantined, have been adopting more pets, more cats and dogs. So will house sitting bounce back? Absolutely. There will be more available sits than there will be house sitters. Absolutely. So now is the time. If you're considering it, now is the time to ask your questions so that when these people start traveling again, you can stay in their house for free. Because that's the perk of house sitting. You can stay somewhere else for free. I pick nice house sits, right? So if you want to stay in a swanky house, if you want to stay in a lake house in Seattle or a beach house in Florida, or, a mansion in LA or a penthouse in New York City, you have to be prepared because when these people start traveling again, they will want a house sitter in their house. Most of my house sitting clients have been retirees who travel for long blocks of time. And so it's really good house sitting is really good for people who want to be a full-time traveler, because you can book, 5 or 6 house sits and that can last you for a full year. But house sitting is also good for people who are not full-time travelers, who just want to be able to get free accommodation for a specific period of time. So if you want to go to the beach in Florida or Hawaii or something for a week or two, and then go back home, house sitting will also work for you. There's no restriction. I've done house sits that are 3 months. I've done 1 night overnight house sits. Okay, so that's a thing. House sits also are good for single people. They're good for couples. They're good for families. There are plenty of people who house sit as a team. Okay, so you don't have to feel like just because you're a parent or a partner, that doesn't mean you can't be a house sitter. People love couples as house sitters. It makes them feel safer, I guess. I don't know, but people love to have couples house sit for them, so that's not a restriction. Okay, so let me get back on track. Okay, so currently house sitting is still happening domestically. I looked on Trusted House Sitters. There are house sits happening right now in the UK and Italy, all the places where there are always a lot of house sits. Australia is big for house sitting. All of those places have house sits listed, have house sits that are being booked. So it is still happening, but it's local, right? It's local people house sitting for other local people. Nobody's leaving their country to go house sit in another country right now. But like I said, we know that it's going to bounce back because people are already on the move and they're going to want to really be on the move once we get permission to go. I just saw something really interesting. There's a TV show called Celebrity House Sitting with Leah Taylor, and she just house sat, or I don't know when they filmed it, but she house sat for Phaedra Parks from Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she house sat for Ricky Smiley. Leah Taylor is a stylist, so she knows people, and she's been house sitting for them. Her YouTube clips have like crazy numbers of views, which tells me that more people are going to be aware of the idea of house sitting because it's like a thing that everybody's heard of, but nobody thinks is real. So I'm expecting more people to start getting interested in house sitting, I hope, because like I said, it's an amazing way to see the world. Yeah, Janice, it's on Design TV on YouTube. I said a show like it's on TV. It's on YouTube. It's on Design TV. If you search for Celebrity House Sitting, it'll come up. You'll see it. Hopefully that'll come up, and then one of my videos will come up after it. Because I tried to enter my tags. Hey, Cheryl. Yeah. So hopefully that's what happens. That's how I've planned it. Yeah. So we know that people are going to be back to traveling, and we know that people are going to have pets and they're going to need someone to take care of their home and their pets while they're gone. So don't be afraid to get started with the house sitting sign up, right? Don't be afraid to get started with Trusted House Sitters and get your profile together so that when it's time, you have the pick, you have the pick of the litter. You can pick the house sits that look the best to you. All you need for people to trust you to house sit for them is a well filled out profile. You need a letter of reference from someone who can say this person is reliable and dependable and they've done X for me, whether that you've pet sat for them or you've taken care of their home or their kids or whatever. Something that shows that you're a trustworthy person. And you need to be able to pitch them. You need to be able to communicate to that person why you are the person that they should pick. Okay. Those things will get you in the door, even when you don't have any reviews. When you're a brand new house sitter and you have no 5-star reviews on your profile, those things will get you your first house sit. Plus, I have a letter. Actually, I should have written this. Can I write this on here now? I'm going to put it in the chat. If you go to housesit.vacarious.com, okay, housesit.vacarious.com, you will get the actual letter, the actual pitch letter that I send to people that gets me booked to house sit for them. It's a letter that says, without, in a little bit fancier way, it says, I'm reliable. I will be in your area. I like whatever you have, cats and dogs, and they like me. And I would love to talk with you further about this. That's what you need to get booked to house sit. You need a profile, you need letter of reference, you need some proof that you are a trustworthy, reliable person, and you need a great letter, a great email that says all of those things. And that email, that letter, that template, I will send to you if you sign up at that email address. Let John says, I downloaded that letter before and it's great. Yes, it is great. It is great. I don't know. I can't. One of my Twitter friends just sent me a message, but I can't remember who it was. Just sent me a message that she booked a house sit with the letter before. She didn't let me know ahead of time, but she let me know afterwards that she booked a house sit with that letter. It's great. Okay. So those are the things you need to get started with house sitting. Would I sign up today? I would wait, honestly. So your membership to Trusted House Sitters is good for 12 months. It's good for 1 year. I would wait a couple of more months before I signed up, but I would get started today. You know what I mean? Like I would get started today with finding a letter of reference. I would get the letter from me, because this means if when you get this letter from me, you're going to be signed up for my newsletter. And then you'll be able to see when things start popping. You know, I'll keep you updated with my newsletter on when things start popping. I personally wouldn't sign up for the first time this month. I would wait till June, summer. I would wait until the summertime. Unless you have a situation where you need to have free accommodation locally right now. Because locally, there, like I said, there are still houses locally. I saw quite a few in San Francisco Bay Area, and I can't remember. There are always house sits in New York, but I can't remember if I saw New York City house sits, but I definitely saw California house sits right now. So there are house sits out there, but I would wait a couple of more months. Okay. But I would start getting ready today. And one of the ways that I would get ready is that I would ask me some questions. Whatever your question is, it doesn't matter what your question is about house sitting. Go ahead and ask while we're here. Okay. So I told you that I told you about the letters, the domestic house sits. Let's talk more about house sitting where you are. My very first house sit was in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm from Delaware. The house sit was 20 minutes, 30 minutes from my house. It was easy. And it meant that in the future, I have this 5-star review on my profile and I can house sit anywhere in the world. Okay. So don't be afraid, or don't get too upset if you have to apply for that domestic house sit first, that local house sit first. What's been my favorite domestic house sit so far? I had a couple of really nice ones in the Bay Area, in San Francisco. All of them have been pet sits. Let's see. Yeah, because mostly I do pet sits because I like them, and pets keep you company, and it's nice to have somebody happy to see you when you walk in the door. And I miss my dog. I had a dog for several years, 8 years. So it's kind of strange to not have a dog. She died before I left to start traveling. So it's kind of strange. So anyway, so I like pet sitting. I had so I did a house sit in San Francisco, and their home was right near a park, and it was walking distance to those houses that were on the beginning of that TV show with the Tanners, Full House. So it was really close to the Full House park, but it backed up to another park. And so the house was just beautiful. It was beautiful. The family was really nice. I met everyone before they left to go on vacation. The dog was really chill. You didn't have to even put him on the leash. You just open the front door and he would walk to the park. And then he would just hump all the other dogs and come home. So that was a really nice house sit, because the house was just beautiful. It was beautiful. They did, like, the husband was the CEO of a tech company. And like the family was really nice. That makes a difference. Even though you're not there with them, it's nice, when they're nice, when you like them and you like communicating with them, and you like, if you would want to talk to them after the house sit, that makes a difference. And they actually let me stay. I'm pretty sure I stayed there for a couple of days after they came back. I think that was one of those house sits where they were so friendly that they had a basement apartment basically. And I stayed in the basement apartment even after they came back from their trip. So domestically, that was good. I had another really good one in Washington, D.C. and Boston. I don't know. I'm just going to start naming places because I've had some really good house sits. I had a really pretty Boston house sit. I didn't know how expensive Boston was. She was in a really expensive area. It was an apartment. It was a smallish apartment, very stylish, but small. And she had a really fancy cat. And it was an expensive part of town, but it was beautiful. So that was fun. And then the one in Washington, D.C., she was just really close to the metro, nice apartment, nice dog, nice place, and, easy access to the rest of Washington, D.C. So I don't know. I'm just naming places, but yeah, I'm still naming places. The one I just did in Austin was also very nice. Austin is not that walkable, or where I was, it wasn't very walkable. But it was a nice place. Nice house. The house itself was very nice. Okay, so D has a question. I know about traveler's insurance. Will it cover you when you're not traveling? So will you need another type of medical coverage when you're home? Yes. Well, there are different policies and different companies, and every company has their own rules, and every policy within the company, has its own rules. My particular traveler's insurance policy does not cover me when I'm in the US. It's travel medical insurance. So it covers my medical. It covers me if I were to be hospitalized or if I needed to be medically evacuated while I'm in another country. There are different types of policies. Some will cover you just for a specific set of time. Some will cover you for specific countries for a specific set of time. I have an annual policy. And so it's actually, I don't have it right now, but I usually have an annual policy. Good news is that it was up when it was time for me to come home. But I keep an annual policy. It covers me in every country except for the US and Japan and Canada, I believe. But that's what I picked because of the money. It was more expensive to be covered in Canada and Japan. And yeah, but it doesn't cover me when I'm in the US. I've heard of people saying that they had a lag, like they have a lag time. Rashida has a video on this too. So Sheeta's on the Loose is here in the chat. If you click on her, I'm pretty sure you can get to her channel. If not, let me type it in. Sheeta's on the Loose. So Sheeta is a gap year coach. And she has a video on insurance as well. And she has a different policy, different rules, but they have different rules. Some people have them where they're covered when they get back to the US, they're covered for X number of days. They can spend X number of days in the US. Mine doesn't cover me for that. Mine is through World Nomads. So I am not covered in the US, but I'm a US military veteran. I'm covered. I have VA medical, I have insurance through the VA, and then that's it. So that's it. When I'm in the US, the VA I have to be taken care of by the VA. And when I'm out of the US, my other policy covers me. Let's see. Okay. So insurance. Does anything else I need to say about that? It's crucial. You must have it. If you're leaving the United States and you need to get medically evacuated back into the United States, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars, if not $100,000. When I was in my early 20s, my cousin's cousin, right? Not my cousin, but my cousin's cousin had to be medically evacuated from Guatemala to Atlanta, Georgia, not all that far, $80,000. That was 20 years ago. So don't do it to yourself. You need insurance. You need travel medical insurance. Watch my video on it. Watch Sheeta's video on it. And both of us have links to insurance companies, like people that you need to check out. This is something you have to investigate for yourself. You know how insurance is. No two people are the same in terms of coverage, because my policy didn't cover me for childcare or maternity. So I was like, well, if I get pregnant, I need to go to Brazil. I need to go to a cheap country and have a baby, because I'm gonna have to pay for that out of pocket. I'm not getting insurance for that, because that was like doubling the price of my insurance. Okay. So we talked about what house sitting is like now. We talked about how domestic house sitting will bounce back first, and how that's a good thing, because that will help us get our new 5-star reviews so that we can then go out in the world and house sit to our heart's content. Okay, so here are some things that are going to be different about house sitting in the future. I think that more house sits will be pet sits. Normally, when I start talking about house sitting, I try to tell people, there are house sits that are not pet sits. But I think that a lot of people have pets now who didn't have pets a few weeks ago. It's just a thing that it's a phenomenon that's happened lately. I saw that the Humane Society is out of animals. More house sits will be pet sits. I think that more people there's a thing in the house sitting community. There's like talk about, should you go to the house? Should you meet the client face to face? And should you be in the home before they leave? Some people like to go to a house sit meet everyone and talk to them and hang out with them for, the day before the family leaves. There are people who prefer to just let themselves in with the key from the lockbox and leave before the family comes back and never meet them. I think that more of that will happen. I think more people will try to not cross paths with their house sitters just to make sure, right? To limit their possible exposure to viruses, right? I think that that's going to happen. I think that more people will just be like, here's the key in the lockbox, let yourself in. I'm already gone. Because nobody wants to get sick the day before they leave for vacation or catch something the day before they leave and then go on vacation and spread it all around. So I think that we'll see more of the like thief in the night house sits. That's what I call them, where you let yourself in and you let yourself out. That's not a big deal because you're still getting a lot of information. Hi, G. Gertrude's here. Hi, Gertrude. Yeah, so you're still getting all the information from them. It's not like, you haven't been in touch with them over the phone and, you're still going to talk to them over the phone. You're still going to Skype with them. They're still going to leave you a thick stack of stuff you need to know. People always over explain things to new house sitters. But I think that will be a change. I think we'll be more not crossing paths with your clients. You won't be meeting your house sitting clients and hanging out with them for a few days like it used to be. I really like that, which is strange because I'm kind of a loner. I am a loner, but I really like going to somebody's house and meeting them and they take me to a restaurant. That's probably why I like it, because they'll take you out to eat and show you around and stuff. I really like that. And I think that a lot of them will stop doing that just for their own safety. All right, some questions. Yeah, Boston is super expensive. Have I ever felt unsafe during a house sit? I've never felt unsafe in the way that you mean. Okay, so so you pick the house sit that you want to do. You talk to the people, you Google the area, you make sure that the house looks like it's not going to fall down on you. You do all the things that you need to do to feel safe before you even accept the house sit. So if it looks like this is going to be a problem, if the neighborhood looks like I can't walk around, I'm not going to take the house sit, right? You don't know their address. Well, so I book house sits a few different ways, but if we're talking about house sits that you book through Trusted House Sitters, you don't know their address before you book it, but you do know their neighborhood. Most of the time, they'll give you a local landmark and tell you what they're near. So I look it up on Google Street View. Do I want to walk around this place? What do the pictures of the house look like? Does the house look like a place that I want to spend my time in? And I talk to the people, and do they sound like they're on the up and up? They always have reviews. I've never booked a house sit for somebody who didn't already have reviews or have word of mouth, references. So make sure that their reviews say that this house sit is great and safe and wonderful, right? So I always do that before I even agree to house sit for somebody. So no, I've never felt unsafe in that way. The only problem that I've ever had was with one dog who was, I need to go back and amend what I just said. I had one dog who got aggressive with me for just a few seconds, like a split second of, of dog activity. And he got in my face, he backed me up against the wall, scared me. But I stayed in control because I know dogs. But I had that happen to me one time. And that happened to me because because she didn't have reviews. I just really wanted that house sit. I was going to an event in LA and I wanted to house sit while I was there because I don't pay for a place to stay. I don't do that. That's over. Those days are over. So I wanted to go to this thing. The house sit matched up perfectly. It was, it was the perfect house sit. It was an apartment near the beach and in Santa Monica, but she didn't have reviews. She had already had house sitters, but she'd never had any reviews. I think she had 3 house sitters and nobody bothered to leave her review. Huge red flag, because it's really easy, on Trusted House Sitters, it's really easy to leave somebody a review. So if I had asked her why had none of her previous house sitters left her a review before, she would have eventually been like, oh, well, the dog, got scared and, and I would have known that ahead of time, but I didn't know ahead of time. That was scary, but it was only scary for a few seconds. The dog, I was trying to take off one of those prong collars and I couldn't get it off. And I just squeezed his neck and he was like, we're done here. But it was like 36 hours before that. I had like 36 hours more in the house or something like that. Maybe 18 hours. I don't know. But the dog was cool with me after that. I was not cool with the dog, but he was cool with me. So no, I've never had a problem with safety in terms of the neighborhood or safety in terms of the home. But I did have one issue with one dog. A lot of people, something else that comes up, a lot of people have cameras in the house. I don't care. I don't know. I guess that's a weird thing because everyone else seems to care about cameras in the house. I don't care. So they'll be like, okay, there's a camera here, here, and here. A lot of them are pet cams or burglar, either aimed at the door or aimed at where the dog usually sleeps or both. And you can see them and they're like, if you don't want the camera on, just turn it off or block it. I never do because it doesn't bother me. So that's another thing that you would talk about with the homeowner, with the potential client, to decide what y'all gonna do about these cameras. If it's a camera where they want to watch the dog, you just need to be made aware that the camera is there. But it's not something that I care about. Another thing that house sitting clients tend to do that I didn't know was a thing is that they will still have work people come to the house. I've had a plumber and a backyard. I had a woman who had her whole backyard patio ripped up and replaced while she was gone in the UK. And she didn't tell me ahead of time that this was happening. And I feel like, and the workers had to come into the house. It's not like I never had to deal with them. They had to come into the house. They had their own key because in the UK, that's what they do. A lot of places are really very trusting of strangers, but that's another story. So I have had houses where workers are coming in and out for whatever reason. In Mexico, there's always a housekeeper coming. So you just have to be okay with that. I feel like people should tell you ahead of time. But once they tell you, I'm good. Hi, Lynn. Lynn has house sat before. Brilliant idea. I'm gonna write that down. We need to do a video, Lynn. I'm writing it down because I forget things. Yeah, so Lynn has house sat recently. So we can talk to Lynn about the good and the bad and the ugly. So for tax purposes, Dee says, for tax purposes, is a house sitter an entrepreneur? Most of my house sits are unpaid. For my paid house sits, I don't know. Because I'm also, I guess so. I'm also a freelance, like I'm a virtual assistant / freelance writer. So I am self-employed. I don't know if I were only getting money as a house sitter, I don't know what that would mean in terms of my taxes. That's a good question. So we'll have to get somebody who can answer that better. Hi, Dee Watkins. Hi. Dee. Okay, so fantastic. I told a little bit of your business, Dee. I let people know that there were still house sits happening locally. Okay, so Dee did her local house sit, got her 5-star review. So now she's good to go. Like, not kidding. All it takes is a 5-star review and your profile and the other things that I said. You need to have your full profile and that good letter. But once that happens for you, the world is opened in terms of house sitting. You can book anywhere. You mean like anywhere. Yeah, so that's fantastic, Dee. Congratulations. I can't wait for us to be traveling again so you can take full advantage of that 5-star review. Yes. Okay. Dee and Lynn. Yeah, so Dee and Lynn, are great examples of getting your first house sit and then off to the races. So Dee, I don't know, to answer your question, I would assume that you would treat yourself as a freelancer for tax purposes, but I am a freelancer, so that's how I file, I don't even know, whatever it's called. That's what I use. The first thing that came to my mind is DD 214, but that's my military thing. But whatever the form is that you use as a freelancer, that's what you use. I just let what do they call tax? I just let the people on the internet decide for me what I do. Gogo, hi. What is the best time of the year to house sit in Mexico? Great question. Mexico is my favorite place to house sit. Well, I guess every place is my favorite place, but I love house sitting in Mexico. I'm a regular there. Oh, there, I saw another question. Do I have repeat customers? So this is going to answer both of those questions. So the best time to go to Mexico to me is when the retirees from the US and Canada who live in Mexico want to leave. Okay. So there are lots of US and Canadian retirees who are now living in Mexico, spending pesos instead of dollars. And they want to go back to the US or Canada to visit friends and family. This happens largely between October and January, October, November, December, January. Okay. Because of Canadian Thanksgiving, US Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. Plus, it's also the rainy season in the West, at least in the states of like Jalisco and the other state. I done forgot my Mexico geography. I need to get back there. Jalisco, the state that starts with an N, that's next to Jalisco. Yeah, anyway. So it's rainy season there and it's holiday season. So they're gone and they like to go for long periods of time. Retirees ain't got nothing to do. So they go as long as they want. So that's a fantastic time to house sit. I booked my first house sit in Mexico for 1 month and I ended up staying for 6 months just because the family of retirees that I house sat for introduced me to their friends. And their friends were like, oh, hey, how about 2 weeks here? How about a month here? And I was like, yes, and yes. Hi, Sharon. So I would say fall is the best time. From what I've seen, they all stay put like January, February. Nobody wants to be in Canada in February. So they're all back, late January, February, March. But I had house sits booked for May and I had almost a house sit booked for June. So I guess that's most of the year. Most of the year is good for house sitting in Mexico. I would say February and March, April, not good. But the rest of the year, very good. October through early January, very, very good. I hope that wasn't too confusing. Let me know if I answered that for you, Gogo. Okay, so that was dancer. We're going to switch gears for a second. What are my thoughts on travel companions, like traveling with an elderly person or retirees? Do you mean like Nayarit? Thank you, Prisha. Nayarit. The state that I'm trying to think of is Nayarit. Okay. The state that is next to Jalisco. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean like when I travel with my mom, traveling with retirees? What are my thoughts on travel companions, like traveling with, or do you mean like being a travel companion to people? So Quad Squad, I can say this, Quad Squad Abroad on YouTube, which is this, and on Instagram, they act as travel companions. So if you don't want to travel someplace alone and you're in their area, they will travel with you. So if that's what you mean, like being a travel companion, okay, like if they're ill or disabled somehow. Okay, and it's someone they're not like paying you to travel with them. I don't have a lot of experience I don't have any experience traveling with someone with a disability any more than just my mom limps. Any more than my mom's hip. Let's see, who can I refer you to? They would pay you to travel with them. It's a thing. So I do know that that's a thing. Being a paid travel companion is a thing. And I can talk to them and see if they will do some YouTube YouTube educating about this concept. But I don't know anything about it. Oh, because you're a nurse. So I don't know anything about it, but I do know it's a thing. What I know is that down in Mexico, where all the retirees are living, there are people who they pay to take care of them, like not nurse them, but just check in on them. Like I do drop in visits with pets. So if you don't want a full house sitter, you just want someone to drop in on your pet while you're at work. I've done that for when I was in San Francisco. A lady paid me just to come and drop in on her new puppy at lunchtime. So there are people in Mexico who are paid to like drop in on clients. Okay. Now, Mexico is also a very popular tourist destination for medical tourism. And there are people who pay you to escort them through the process. You're not necessarily providing medical care, or you're not providing medical care, but you're pick them up at the airport, take them to their Airbnb, take them to their doctor or dentist appointments, pick them back up, so that it's a thing. And I would imagine it pays well. Because I would imagine people who are hiring someone to do this for them have some dough, I would guess, but I'm just guessing. But I know it's a thing. My mom went to Mexico and got partial dentures done for like 1/10 of the price of what they were quoting her up here in the US. So I do know it's a thing. Hi, Monique. But I don't know. So that's another thing. I'm going to write that down, like a health navigator. We'll see if I can get someone to refer me to someone who can give us more information about that. Yes, it's a thing. I think that they just they are people who know an area where there's a lot of medical tourism. But that's all I know. But I can find someone. And if I do, and when I do, I'll make sure that I let everyone know that this is coming so that you'll know that we're going to talk about that on a video. Lynn says, I'm about to apply for a long house sit in Hawaii. Get it? Yeah. So I was telling everybody that domestic house sits are going to bounce back much earlier than international house sits, right? We don't know when other countries are going to let us in, but domestic flights are still happening, and, people are still moving about the country, whether they should or shouldn't be. So house sits within the US are going to be the first thing to pop off. A house sit in Hawaii is high demand. I don't care when it is, where it is, it's high demand. So if you want to go to a high demand place, you need to have your profile ready. You need to have your 5-star review ready, right? Lynn is ready to go. Lynn has house sat at least twice already. So she's ready to go. So you need to be ready to go if you want to go to a high demand place. People ask me about the Caribbean a lot. That's probably the only section of the world where it's really, really tough, really hard to get a house sit. In a lot of the world, houses are just popping up everywhere. If you want a house sit in London, if you want a house sit in anywhere in Australia, easy. If you want a house sit up and down the East Coast or West Coast of the US, simple. But if you want a house sit in the Caribbean, you need to be on top of it. You need to have your profile ready. You can't wait until you see the house sit to get your stuff together. You have to be ready before they post it. When they hit send, you need your alert in your phone to go off, and you need to have your stuff there. I've had people tell me, I just posted this. How did you apply so fast? I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I have the app. I have an alert set up, and I have multiple alerts set up. What about house sitting in Africa? House sitting in South Africa? Yes, I see. I'm not going to say lots, but I've seen house sits in South Africa. Lynn has house sat in South Africa herself. Occasionally, you'll see house sits in Kenya, Tanzania. I can't think that I've seen now through trusted house sitters I'm talking about. I can't remember seeing house sits in West Africa, like Ghana, Nigeria. I don't know that I see them pop up. I see them on the East and South. But yes, but there may be I'm going to look that up. And you may just Google that. There may be a separate site that is more popular in Africa, or it just might not be a thing. I'm going to write that down to look it up, because it may be that there's a separate site. It may just be that people instead rely on word of mouth instead of a website to find house sitters. Anywhere that you have a lot of foreigners, like anywhere that you have a lot of people who are not local, who are not from there, and who don't have family there to help them out, anywhere that you have that kind of population, you're going to have people who need house sitters. It's just a question of where do they find them. They may not find them on the Trusted House Sitters site. They may instead find them through their school. Like if you're an international teacher teaching at an international school in Ghana, you might get your house sitter from, somebody at the school, somebody who knows somebody. There are also Facebook groups full of expats everywhere. So, might be that they just book through a different way. Lynn says there's now 4 house sits available in South Africa. Yeah, I looked around on the site, and it shocked me to see how much stuff is still going on. Because I know South Africa's lockdown is legit. Like they have a real lockdown, and it's been extended. But yeah, so it's still happening, but it's very difficult. So some countries right now, even if you can get into the country, they make you quarantine in a specific location before you can go do what you want to do. So let's say you did get a house sit today in South Africa. You need like a 2-week time period where you can be in the hotel where they're going to quarantine you before you go to your house sit. So I would not do it. I don't think it's worth it, because at any moment the rules could change, right? I would stay domestic through the summer. Stay in whatever country you're in, you can house sit in that country, but I wouldn't risk it. But y'all do what you want. I wouldn't risk it, because you don't want to I wouldn't want to be quarantined. And I also wouldn't want to run the risk of them saying, okay, we've changed the rules. You must leave today. I've agreed to house sit for these people. Now the country is saying I have to leave, So I would put that off, and just focus on local stuff for now. Daisy, hi. When you get paid house sits, who determines the amount of the pay? You do. Also, how do you get paid? So here's what I do. I'm the world's worst negotiator. Okay. So keep that in mind. When I get paid to house sit, I get paid a per diem, which basically will cover my food for the day. And I decide what that is. But if you are a negotiator, or if you just are better at things than me, you can request more. Okay. So I have to be very clear. If you're house sitting through Trusted House Sitters, you cannot charge. There is no getting paid for a Trusted House Sitter site, for a Trusted House Sitter house sit. Okay. We're talking about word of mouth house sits or referrals, which most of mine are now. I just charge a per diem. So in Mexico, I charge $10 a day, because that's going to give me plenty of tacos and cerveza and churros, and I'm happy. So I charge $10 a day in Mexico. I've never had anyone balk. Well, I had one lady balk at it. She had a cat. And when I said that to her, she was like, never mind, my neighbor will do it. Fine. Everybody's happy. But yeah, so $10 a day in Mexico. She's the only one who's ever said, really? In San Francisco, I charged $25 a day. That probably wasn't enough because it was expensive. But yeah, so I charge a per diem, which will cover my food. But that's not a rule. And the fact that people are willing to pay it probably means that I'm undercharging, but that's just how I do it, because I'm staying in their home for free. Taking care of a cat takes like 15 minutes a day. Like seriously, you put the food down, you scoop the poop, some cats want you to pet them. Some cats are like, leave me alone. Some cats want you to chase them around with a laser light. Other cats are like, I'm taking a nap. Cats sleep 22 hours a day. So that's how I do it. I just charge enough to eat. But again, when you're house sitting through Trusted House Sitters, you cannot charge. Nope. Okay, another person asking about being a travel companion. Okay, this is good. So follow Quad Squad Abroad, guys. I said it right this time. Follow them. Look for their channel on YouTube. They're on YouTube and on Instagram. Okay, so they're the ones who I know do it. They're a family of four, and they are travel companions. So follow them and stay tuned. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel as well, so that when we talk about it more specifically, you will get the alert. Yeah, Lynn said nobody's welcoming us right now. No, I would guess nobody's going to welcome us for a while. Yeah. Hi, Amani. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Daisy says, I hope I get up enough nerve to do it. Ciao. It takes one. Once you do a house sit, you will not want to pay for a place to stay. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding when I say I don't do it. If I pay for a place to stay, it's because something, either I don't feel good. Like in Mexico, before I came back to the US from Mexico, I didn't feel that good. There were houses available. And I was like, I'd rather just pay, and stay in I stayed in a hostel in a dorm room, but they left me in the room by myself. So I did that in Leon before I came to Austin. But before that, we're talking, I don't know, 5 months of not paying for a place to stay and bopping around Mexico. Like, I don't do it. So all it takes is a house sit. It takes one. That's all it takes. Get one house sit under your belt and you'll be like, oh, it might not even take one house sit. All it takes is, once things get a little more back to normal, scroll around on the website, scroll around on Trusted House Sitters and look at some of those house sits that are available. It will change everything. It will change everything. I house sit. So someone asked me earlier, do I have regulars? I house sat for a mother-daughter team in San Francisco who went to Greece to house sit. That's the thing that house sitters do. You house sit for other house sitters. A lot of the people that I've house sat for have been other house sitters. These people went to Greece. The mother and daughter went to Greece, not Mykonos, but another island, for 2 weeks to house sit. I'm talking about that place that they went to was beautiful. Their home in San Francisco was beautiful. It was in the Oakland Hills. Is that what it's called? The Oakland Hills. It was up there. It was a beautiful home, the mom's home. But they took their happy selves to Greece for 2 weeks and only had to pay for airfare and food, but didn't have to pay for accommodation. Yeah. So it just try it. I'm telling you, you'll love it. Yeah, you'll love it. Your concern. Okay, good question. Do I find that domestic house sits are less open to Black house sitters? Honestly, yes. In the US, it's harder for me to book a house sit with retirees who are my bread and butter in the rest of the world. In the US, white retirees are less likely to book me. So yes, that is a thing. In the rest of the world, and it's the same, like basically the same people, the Americans and Canadian retirees are the same people as the Floridian retirees. But in the rest of the world, I get snapped up, right? In the US, it is difficult for me to book a house sit with white retirees. I've only done one. Of all the house sits that I've done in the US, maybe, I'm doing like 15 house sits in the US, maybe. One with white retirees. And that was the one I just did in Austin. And they were very young retirees. They were younger than my parents. They were probably early 60s, maybe even late. Now I think about it, they may have even been late 50s because their son was in college. So yeah. So yes, it is more difficult. But there are house sits available, right? So I still stay house sitting, right? I still stay booked. But yes, that is a thing. Millennials, professional millennials, or people in their 30s and late 20s, or however old millennials are, I have no problem booking them. No problem. So that's how I've house sat. The Boston and DC and the other San Francisco house sits, some of those were also white Americans, but they're younger. So it's a thing. You don't know if someone's not calling you back or not replying to your letter because you're Black? Is it because I'm Black, or is it just because you're not going on vacation anymore and you forgot to take the thing off? You know, you never know. But I do find that if I apply for a house sit in the US and they're retired age and they're white, probably not going to get it. But I keep trying. If the house is nice enough, I am trying. But in the rest of the world, no problem. I stay booked. Like I said, in Mexico, no problem at all. Imani, that's my concern. I would think if their friends refer you, they would be trusting. Yeah. So the referral. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm reading that one more time to make sure I understand what you're saying. Yeah. People, the referred house sits, like when somebody says, "Oh, I know somebody," they are on me. They're like, "Please come, please come." I'm like, "You don't even know me. Why are you so excited?" They just need somebody, right? But they're on me. I turn a lot of those down because I want the referee. I want to know that I can trust their judgment. Sometimes it's just somebody you happen to know who, and I don't know if I can trust your judgment. I don't know that because I want to house it in a nice house. And so you can only ask so many questions about, like, how fancy is this house? So I do turn some down where they're like, "So-and-so said you're a house sitter." And I'll be like, "Yeah, but I'm booked," because I'm holding out because I want the good stuff. I want the good houses. There are some beautiful homes in these parts of Mexico that I house it in. So I'm holding out. I don't want to be just in a shack. Cheryl, I've had one domestic house sit in Jacksonville. Yeah. Was it a beach house sit? Give us a little more info. So Cheryl's asking about Rover. I mentioned Rover in the video, and now I regret it. I made that video in June, and now I kind of regret it because I have to skirt the system to use Rover. And here's how I do it. Rover is a house sitting service where you get paid instead of trusted house sitters where you're just getting free accommodation. With Rover, you get paid. So it sounds great, right? It's great if you're doing it locally. Okay. Because you have a profile, you have your address up, and people find you. You don't find them. With trusted house sitters, someone puts up a thing and says, "I need a house sitter." You search, you guys find, you find each other. You know what I'm saying? With Rover, they contact you. You can't search to see what's out there and what's available. And so you need to have your profile in that area. My address is in Dover, Delaware. I want to house sit and get paid for it in San Francisco. So here's what I did, which is wrong. But I just used a San Francisco address that was not mine. And then people could say, "Hey, are you here during these dates?" I was going to be in San Francisco during Christmas and New Year's and Martin Luther King weekend. And it's just really a complicated way to travel. Okay, so traveling and house sitting with Rover, probably not worth the effort. But locally, yes, because you'll make some money. So locally, Rover, I recommend it. But it's really difficult to travel and get Rover house sits booked because you have to have an address in another city and you have to just be there waiting. You just have to have your thing waiting. And you cannot house sit with Rover outside of the country where you're eligible to work. So when I was in the UK, I was in the UK for months last year, and Rover is also in the UK, but I couldn't house sit through them because I'm not eligible to work. My social, I have a US Social Security number. So Rover is great if you're in the area already, you're local and you want to make some money house sitting or doing drop-in visits, which is what I did. But for travel, it's not convenient. And I'm sorry I mentioned it in the video. Yeah. Because what I did was not, I skirted the system. I made up my own rules, but I wouldn't tell you to do it that way. Oh, Imani's chatting. Okay. So I was trying to, okay. She's saying she's just chatting. Okay. Keep chatting. That's what we're here for. Okay, Jacksonville House Sit was on a lake with access to paddle boarding. I hope you enjoyed every day of that. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, if you wanna give yourself a vacation, whether it's a few days or a few months, I don't know. I don't think you can beat house sitting. I don't think so. Watch seriously, y'all, watch Celebrity House Sitter. What is it called? Celebrity House Sitting with Leah Taylor. Find her here on YouTube and watch her. She's living it up. It's on the design channel, so it's more about just showing you the house. You don't see her like doing, her day-to-day stuff, but she's in some fabulous houses. I can't wait to be her be her plus one day. Gogo says, how long is the process of getting booked on house sitters from the time you apply until you're confirmed? Once you're so as provided that your profile is already up and ready. Okay. I have had times where I email them to apply for a house sit and they replied back like 15 or 20 minutes later, like, hey, can we talk? We talk and then they confirm me. I've also had times where people wait weeks, like they let applications pile up. I've seen people let it get to over 50 applications for a house sit. And then they want to call you and talk about, are you still available? Everything varies. It's all up in the air. You're just dealing with individuals, just people, whatever, just any type of person you can think of, So some people, like I said, I have booked house sits where like within 20 or 30 minutes, I'm booked. Done and done. I've had times where it's taken weeks. I had a man in the UK want to talk to me 3 or 4 times, and I was like, no. So his house was fabulous. I can still picture that house. His house was fabulous. I couldn't wait to house it there. I was going to bring in a photographer. Like I wasn't even going to take my own pictures. I was going to get an Airbnb photographer to come in. Not kidding. But we talked twice and then he was like, wanted to schedule another one. And I think we talked 3 times. And then after that, I was just like, you know what? If he's going through all this now, imagine how annoying and particular he's going to be when I'm house sitting and dog sitting, So I was like, oh, I'm sorry. That date's been booked. But yeah, so most of these people are people who are going on vacation on a fixed date, and they want to know that they have a house sitter booked so that they can get that out of the way, So most of the time, they're not going to want to drag it on. So when they do want to drag it on, to me, that's a red flag. To me, that's like, either they're not serious about going or they're just going to be really a pain in the buns. So most of the time, it goes by kind of quickly, but some people don't get too nervous if you apply, because when you apply on Trusted House Sitters, you can see a range of how many people have already applied. So don't get too nervous if you see, that they're letting more people apply. They just want to wait. Some people just want to wait and read everybody's applications at once. Some people will read them as each one comes in. Some people will take the very first person who applies. Everybody's different. All right. Imani, I think I will use Rover. Do it locally. Yes, you'll get paid. You can do house sitting with Rover locally. You can do drop-in visits. Drop-in visits are very easy, but don't underestimate how much of your time it's going to take. So even though the drop-in visit that I did in San Francisco for the new puppy, it was a brand new puppy, a brand new French bulldog puppy. She is the cutest dog. She didn't win when I had a little competition of which dog was the cutest on Instagram. She didn't win, but she was super cute. I think it was my picture wasn't that good. So even though I'm only at her house for 30 minutes, I underestimated the fact that I was going to have to get there, get back home. It just eats up more time than you think it is. Because with Rover, you set your rates. They give you a base rate, but you set your rates. So don't underestimate how much of your time it's going to take to do a drop-in or walk the dog or do the house sit. But there's a variety of things that you can do on Rover, and easy. It's easy. And they pay you pretty quickly. The person pays Rover immediately and they give you the money. I think I always had the money within like 3 or 4 days. Now this was 2018. 2018. At that time, so I charged her $25, I want to say, for a drop-in visit. It might have been 30 and Rover took 5, or it might have been 25 and Rover took 5. It was between 20 and 25, between $25 and $30 for the drop-in visit every day. She paid me every day for like 2 weeks or whatever. She had just gotten a brand new puppy. And it was, she got the puppy for Christmas and then she had to go back to work. Yeah, so that's what I charged. I could have charged, whatever. I could have charged more because it does take up more time than you think. Because I walked there. I was, walking around San Francisco. It was maybe like a 15-minute walk there, 15 minutes back. You have to put clothes on, because you're going to go out in public. You have to put on a bra, all that. So don't underestimate your time, what your time is worth. All right. She said she's excited for the future. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited. I'm so glad to see you guys. Even though I can't see you, I can see your pictures and I can see your names. It's so good to see you guys because it's been a strange time. I have not had the best. I have not coped with this the best, but I've been feeling really good for like the past week or so. And I'm excited for the future. I'm excited because who knows? Anything could happen now in a good way, I'm like any kind of house that could pop up, anything could happen. And we're here, we're free. Monique, Monique is asking me where was this, but I don't know where was what. Was what did I talk about? The drop-ins, I've only done drop-ins in San Francisco, if that's what you were talking about. Okay, answered the question. Yes, we have to encourage each other. Oh, the house where the man was hesitant. It was London. I can't remember the neighborhood or the area. It might have been Kensington. I'm talking about Monique. I'm not kidding when I had already looked up Airbnb photographers from Airbnb experiences. I was going to bring in a photographer, get myself actual clothes. I was going to need to find an actual like dress because I wear the same stuff over and over and over again. Like find a dress, get a photographer or maybe 2 dresses and do a photo shoot. It was fabulous, but it just didn't work out. He was, he not only did he want to do a lot of phone calls, but he was very concerned with the dog's diet. A lot of people who I house sit for have you cook for the dog. Like a lot of people do not feed their dogs dog food anymore, which is kind of a new thing for me because it's just a new thing. So I had no problem cooking for the dog, but the way he talked about it, about her digestive issues, it just made me feel like this was all going to be more trouble than it was going to be worth. I wish I could remember the neighborhood. I don't remember the neighborhood. I'm thinking it was Kensington just because the house looked like one of those houses. Man, one day I've had two where I was like, I'm bringing in a photographer. Another one was in the hills in Oakland near the one that I did. But I mean, it looked like a tree house because she was up in the, up elevated. Yeah, but I didn't get that one. I don't even know if I heard a reply from her, but I had already planned out my photo shoot before I even finished hitting enter on my application. If you want to interview I think, Daisy, you're asking me, how does someone contact you? Oh, how does someone contact you if they want you to interview them? My email, I'm going to give you my email right now. My email is Stephanie with a PH, Stephanie@vacarious.com. BAC Vicarious. It's weird. Okay, email me. Or you can DM me on anything. At Vicarious on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So you can send me a DM. My DM, like I said, I was not coping well. I spent about an entire month in bed. Not kidding. So my DMs are full, like, so it will take me a while to get through and clear things out. So it's probably best to just email me. Yes, Monique said Monique is a blogger. Monique is a travel blogger in the Netherlands. Monique is from the US. She lives in the Netherlands. So make sure that you follow her. Monique runs the world, right? Monique runs around. Monique, okay, I'm not saying this right. Monique has a goal to run 50 international races before her 50th birthday. Corona has kind of put has like messed up her plans. But yeah, so I'm saying this to say that she has a YouTube, she has an Instagram, she has a blog, An Unstoppable Journey. And she's saying she's trying to scope spots around the house to take her pictures. Yeah. Yeah, you want to get creative. You're like, okay, so I'm in the same location. Let me find the most creative way to get this done. Let's see, An Unstoppable. I'm sorry, I can't type and talk. An Unstoppable Journey. Okay, so that's Monique's Instagram. She has a separate one for running, but this is her regular one. Yes, and so Monique, if you have ever, so I have a picture of me in the Netherlands that I love, love, love. Actually, two, one from the house sit and one from the field of flowers. This time last year, I was in the Netherlands, and Monique took a picture of me in a field of tulips, and it is bomb. Yeah, Monique took that. Okay, Daisy, send me her info. Yeah, she's starting a business with pets. I did a video just a couple of days ago. I would like to do some more videos about ways that people afford their life abroad. Because as we know, I have done very little work. I've built my whole life around traveling more and working less. So I have done very little work. If you are looking for ways to afford your life abroad, we're going to need to bring in some other people. Okay. Because I'm a virtual assistant. I do some freelance writing, but I do it as little as possible. I'm not kidding. Like as little as possible. That's why I'm a house sitter, because I don't want to have to pay for a place to stay, because I don't want to have to work. So when people start asking questions about how to afford to live abroad or how to afford to travel abroad without having having savings, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get somebody to help with that. I can help you house sit. I can help you if you're talking about traveling on savings. If we go out of that, we need to bring in the experts. I just did a fantastic interview, if I may say so myself, with Travis T, who is a rapper / piano player / music producer who sets up his own tour dates internationally. He contacts venues himself wherever he wants to go and gets booked and gets paid. That video is already up on my channel. So if you are some sort of performer or artist and you want to travel internationally and you want people to pay you to do it, watch that video. Not kidding. He gave great information. His interview was so good that I want to learn how to play the guitar. I'm like, I need a skill. I need a skill. Yes, I said it all wrong. So Monique, during her 50th year, she will accomplish her goal of running 50 international races. We're talking long races, marathons and half marathons, and ugh. I don't mean to say ugh. I mean to say yay. Go Monique. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So check out Monique on IG, and she's got 2 IGs. So on An Unstoppable Journey is her regular IG. A Runstoppable Journey is her running IG. Imani's excited to know another American in the Netherlands. Yeah. The Netherlands is smaller than I thought, which was a surprise to me, but it was amazing. I was only there for a little while, and the timing was just bad. Number one, well, just timing was bad. And so my dad had just had a heart attack when I got to the Netherlands, and I was had a short house sit, and then I was coming back home. And so I didn't see very much. The day Monique took me out is probably the only day that I really did anything. Yeah, it's the only day that I did anything. It was great to have a friend. That's the wonderful thing about traveling now. You know, like you can, if you don't even like I knew Monique already, but even if you don't know somebody, you can meet somebody where you're going today. Thanks, internet. So I didn't see a lot of the Netherlands, but what I did see was amazing, and I can't wait to go back. It was, I don't know how to explain it. It was just chill. It was a place where I felt comfortable. I felt safe. I did eat well. I ate I ate good food. It was just pretty. Springtime, of course. I was there in April. Springtime was the perfect time to be there, but I can't wait to go back. Lynn. Okay, so Lynn says I recommend folks get an astrocartography chart done. I need water. Astrocartography is the study of energetic influences and how they specifically apply to you based on your geographic location. Astrocartography is going to tell you, right, Lynn, where you travel based on your like zodiac information. Is that right? I think. I don't know, but that's what I think. Okay, so good grief, y'all. It's 8:17. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll back through one time just to see if I missed anything, any questions that I should have answered. Don't forget to, I'm gonna put this, let me do this right now. Get on my email list, okay? Get my email newsletter. If you click on this link, I will send you the letter that I use to get booked to house sit. It's a template it's the actual email. All you have to do is put in their name, their pet name, their city, the dates. It's housesit.vicarious. I cannot type and talk. I can only do one .com. Okay. So if you click on this link, house sit, and I'll put it, if you're watching the replay, I'll put it in the description. housesit.vicarious.com. This will do two things. It will give you that letter that I send out to get booked. And it will get you onto my email newsletter so that you will be up to date on what's happening in the world of house sitting. Okay. So I'll let you know when there is, when local house sits start to pop off again and when the world opens up for us. Because, like I said, I personally wouldn't join Trusted House Sitters this month. I wouldn't do it. I would wait until the summer unless you know that you have time to house sit locally now. And if you if you live in a city where there are going to be local house sits and you want to do it now. But I would wait. You want to get your full money's worth. You want to get your 12 months worth. And so if you get on my email list, click on that link, you'll get your letter and then you'll be up to date. I'll keep you up to date about the world of house sitting. Monique, it's way past bedtime. It is. It is. I think you guys are, oh, geez. I think you guys are 6 hours ahead. I hope not, Monique. I hope it's not. I hope it's not 2:30. Good night. Tisha, I'm missing something. Are you asking me about Workaway? Or are you chatting with people in the chat? Workaway is a work exchange where you get free room and board to volunteer for people for about 3 to 5 hours a day. Workaway.info is their website. I've done Workaway work exchanges before I started house sitting. And yes, Lynn, I did. I'm sorry. You've asked me that more than once. I had to contact them because I wasn't getting my referral credits from Trusted House Sitters. I'm sorry I didn't tell you this. Yeah, I was not getting my referral credits from Trusted House Sitters. I had to contact them. We went through this whole thing, and now, yes, I have gotten the credit for me referring you to them. So thank you. So yes, so if you join Trusted House Sitters using my referral link, they will give me a like a referral credit. It's an affiliate link, so they give me like a commission, not like a commission. They give me a commission. So that's, yeah, Lynn's asked me that. She's asked me that multiple times. And I finally had to contact them and be like, how come I'm not getting my money? And they gave me my money. Yes. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, Tisha. Yes. 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 I did Workaway 3 times. Once in Cambodia, twice in Australia. I had a great experience, an okay experience, and a bad experience. I will Workaway again. Okay, so the bad experience wasn't bad enough to make me not do it again. So we'll switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit about Workaway because I like it. Okay, so I do a 5-day challenge called the Sabbatical Money 5-day challenge. And Workaway is one of the things that we talk about during that challenge. I'm going to link to it now if anybody wants to join. I'm sorry, Vicarious. I'm going to tell you right now. Just give me 1 second. /fun employment. Okay, so this is the link. Vicarious.com/fun employment is the link to join the 5-day challenge. We talk specifically, in the 5-day challenge, I tell you 5 different ways that you can fund your year off of work to travel. Of course, house sitting is one of the 5, and Workaway is one of the 5. I wholeheartedly recommend volunteering in exchange for free room and board through Workaway. Workaway is not the only site that does that type of thing. Workaway and HelpX are the 2 most popular. So the way this works is people all over the world decide that they want someone to come help them with something. And it's really that broad. And they put up a listing and people say, yes, I want to do it, or no, you know how listings work. I did 3 different work exchanges, and they're each between 3 to 5 hours per day. And they give you room and board, food and accommodation. My first work exchange was HelpStay. Thank you, Cheryl. I've never heard of them. I know HelpX. Are you talking about HelpX? I know helpx.net. I'm going to type that in. I don't know HelpStay. Workaway.info. Okay. So I did 3 work exchanges. The last one that I did was the best one. I was a part-time nanny it took me about 2 hours a day. I woke up the 2 kids who were school age, got them made sure they got dressed and ready for school, fed them breakfast and packed their lunch, and then drove the carpool to school. I had got the use of the car for the rest of the day. They lived in Australia on the Gold Coast, on the East Coast, beautiful beaches there. They had a pool. The house had a pool. This was wintertime in Australia. I was there June and July, so it was their wintertime. I didn't use the pool, but if I'd timed it right, I would have had use of the pool. But a beautiful home. So the work exchange, so that was it. And it was 2 months, right? So normally if you're hired to be a nanny, you're working more than 2 hours a day and you're going to be there for more than 2 months at a time. So that's the difference between getting a job and getting a work exchange and doing a work exchange. So the Australia work exchange with the 2 kids was fantastic. The mom was wonderful. The dad was okay. The kids were good. The car it was nice to have the car. Australia is an expensive place. I would not have been able to afford to stay there without that work exchange. I still talk to the family on Facebook. They became friends. Fantastic experience. My middle work exchange that I did was for a couple who bred dogs. They bred schnauzers. My responsibility was to feed the dogs. They also had like a business selling car parts. I don't know. So I kind of like filled orders for a couple hours a day. For a few days, I did yard work, which I don't do. So that one was just okay. I stayed in their RV. I stayed in an RV. That's the video that Rashida won't watch about how I pooped in a trash can. I did a video about how I pooped in a trash can in Australia for 2 weeks. It's because I lived in an RV, and they had like a DIY composting toilet instead of a regular toilet or a composting toilet. They made one out of a trash can, out of a dumpster. But that's a different story. But that's not why I didn't like it. I knew that before I went there, and I agreed to do that. But that work exchange was just okay. And then the one in Cambodia that I didn't like was for a farmer he was French. A French farmer had gone to Cambodia to start farming crickets because crickets are a good source of iron and protein and calcium, maybe. And you don't have to feed them very much or water them very much. They don't take up much space. And you can make good money farming crickets in Cambodia. So I went to work for him, or did the work exchange for him. But he wasn't a nice person. Like, I just didn't like him. He was not a nice person. He didn't follow through on the food. He gave me a place to stay, but no food. And in Cambodia, it's so cheap. It would have been better for me to just pay for my own place to stay, since I was going to pay for my own food anyway. And it was hot, and the combination of not liking him and being hot and sweaty just didn't go well together. So that's it. Like, so work exchanges are like everything else. You need to read the reviews, listen to what other people have to say, ask enough questions to know what you're getting into, what do they expect you to do, and what will they give you in exchange. Make sure you're clear on that. Work exchanges can be a wonderful way to meet other travelers. A lot of work exchanges have more than one person at a time. The lady that I did the work exchange for, she didn't have the nanny job. She didn't have other workers there, but she did have, she was renting out two of the bedrooms. The house had maybe 8 bedrooms. It was a huge house. I don't know, but she rented out 2 bedrooms to some other people. So like, I made friends, and it was just a really good experience. And I will do another work exchange again sometime soon. Yeah, so Workaway and helpx.net are the 2 that I know of. Wolf is another one, but Wolf is all farming. I don't know if you're into that. Rashida and Sheeta, I said Sheeta from Sheeta's on the Loose, who y'all probably know. We did the interviews with women who had taken a gap year, and we talked to, I was just looking over here at y'all's names, and I lost her name, Kenya Rancy. We talked to Kenya Rancy, who did a wonderful work exchange in Spain. So if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about her work exchange experience, watch Kenya Rancy's video on Rashida's channel. Sheeta's on the Loose on YouTube, and we interviewed Kenya Rancy. Yeah, so watch her video for information about her experience in Spain. She worked on an organic farm, and the woman was a chef. The woman that she worked for was a chef, and she loved it. Spoiler alert, she loved it. And like I said, I will do it again. So it's good. What am I missing? Cheryl says, Help Stay is awesome. Free accommodation in exchange for volunteering. I've done that as much as house sitting, if not more. Yeah, I'm a fan of work exchanges. I prefer house sitting now more, because like, your whole day is up to you. Like, with work exchanges, you need to have those 3 to 5 hours where you feel like doing something for someone else. With house sitting, it's all up to you, except for the little bit of time you need to take care of the animal, the cat or the dog or whatever. Now that I have the virtual assistant business, the freelance writing business, I don't do, I haven't done a work exchange since then, because I don't want to work too much. I don't want to be committed to working 4 hours for them plus a couple hours for that's too much. I'm not doing that. No, 6 hours a day is uncalled for. Hi, G. Oh, G, you've been here. Hi, I'm saying hi again. She said, I'm good at this stuff, the working/digital nomad stuff. I'm good at the travel stuff. The working stuff, I'm just okay with. Yes, Cheryl. Okay, so Cheryl's saying Cheryl's saying help stay is $35 a year. I'm pretty sure Help X is also 30 something, but I think that's for 2 years. Help X might be 30 something dollars for 2 years. And then Work Away is like $40 for 1 year. Something like that. Join the 5-day challenge. It's all in there. Join the 5-day challenge, vicarious.com/funemployment. And I give you information about those there. Or just look them up. You can just look them up. We're starting the 5-day challenge on Monday because time got away from me. It's already almost May. So we start the next challenge on May. It'll be a nice small group so everybody will get good time to ask questions and talk and stuff. Sawdust. Are you talking about the composting toilet? Yeah, so that's that's what it was. So instead of them buying a composting toilet, they just made a composting toilet out of a dumpster, put a little step ladder in front of it and like a seat on it, and then you use it and then you dump sawdust in there, and then you go into the house to wash your hands because they had a sink and a sink and a shower, but no toilet. And that was my life for probably 2 or 3 weeks. I don't remember how long I stayed. I remember on the weekend, I would get on the bus and go into town, into Perth, which is not all that fun anyway. But it was a nice work exchange. The area was beautiful. My pictures from that area are beautiful. I was in the wine region, Swan Valley wine region. So it was beautiful. I have a picture. I walked past the farm. There was 2 donkeys standing there, and I wasn't going to take their picture or anything. I was just walking, and the donkeys came up to the fence and posed for me. That was one of my best memories of that time. I was like, there's donkeys who are posing for pictures. Tisha says the 12 interviews were awesome. Thank you, Tisha. I am so proud of those. Sheeta and I, if I may say so myself, I am so proud of that we put out there. We talked to 12 Black women who have taken a career break to travel for various reasons, because they were physically burned out or mentally burned out, or just because they wanted to see the world, or for whatever reasons. And it was amazing to hear their stories. They gave such good information, like actual information about their travels and how they did it, how they paid for it, how they worked, how they got jobs when it was time to come back home. But more than that, they gave us the inspiration. They let us know that there are people out here doing it. Sheeta and I aren't the only 2 weirdos who left our jobs and are, just out and about, bopping around the world. All right. So I don't think we have any other questions about house sitting, right? I think I did a good job. I hope you guys' questions are answered. House sitting is still around and it will rebound. And in a couple of months, it'll be time to get ready to take advantage of all those house sits that are going to be just bursting forth. So make sure you click that link. I will email you the letter, and I'll keep you informed about what's happening with house sitting. It's not over. House sitting ain't over. All right, friends. My throat. I haven't talked this much all of April. Not kidding when I tell you I spent most of the month in the bed. I haven't talked. My throat is tired. But I hope that you're coming away with this with some info about house sitting. But most importantly, I hope that you're coming away knowing that if you want to take some time, if you want to do a sabbatical or take some time and travel or move long-term out of the country or whatever, just because you can't do it now doesn't mean that you can't do it. And it doesn't mean that you don't plan, that you stop planning. So keep planning, keep working at it, keep asking us questions. I'm here. And if you ask me questions, I will reply. That's how I know most of y'all. Ask me a question and I will reply. It may take me a while, but I will reply. What's the first place I'm going after COVID? You guys, okay, so one more question. Everybody answer that. What Amika said, hi Amika. Amika says, what's the first place you're going after COVID? Somebody tell me, what's the first place you're going after COVID? I am going to let things fall into place. So I'm going to just stalk trusted house sitters for an amazing house sit, wherever it is. I'm open. Lynn already told us Hawaii. Go saying Mexico. I'm open. I would like to spend some time in Scotland or Ireland. Because I've been to the UK, but I've been to England only, not to Scotland. And there are always house sits in Scotland. But I'm open. I'm going wherever I go first. Please believe that house is going to be the most beautiful thing. I like beaches. I don't do wintertime. I boycott winter. But someplace warm and pretty with good food. I don't know. This sounds like Mexico, right? Imani's hopefully Spain. Imani says hopefully Spain. Amika, South America. Daisy, LA. Amika, Colombia. Okay, Colombia. Okay, South America, Colombia. Colombia is another great choice. AE, anywhere that's cheap and will allow Americans to enter. Word. Iceland, maybe another great choice, Amika. I think, yeah, I don't know. They're not going to let us in during the summertime. I think the only time I would go is during the summertime. My accountability buddy is Danielle from thethoughtcard.com. Thethoughtcard.com. Yeah, she has a podcast and a blog. She is in love with Iceland. I think she's been 3 times. I interviewed her on the channel. Danielle's interview is how to afford travel while paying off debt. She loves Iceland. Tisha says she's open. Your passport is sitting in a drawer with a serious attitude. Girl, mine too. Mine is on the desk right behind me in that bowl. I can't move over too much because my desk is messy. But there's like a bowl in front of that clipboard. My passport is sitting right there. Like, don't forget me. Oh, hello. Soprano Musings is, I know who it is, but I can't think of who it is. I know who you are. Hi. Somewhere warm after COVID-19. Mexico, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica. All of those are great choices. I have not yet been to Puerto Rico, so that would be a good choice too. Financial Garden. I boycott winter too. Yes. AE loves Iceland, one of my favorite countries. Yeah, Danielle is crazy about it. So I would like to go, but not in the fall or winter or spring. Summertime only. Even then, you still have to wear a coat. I usually have a rule, like I don't go places where you have to wear a coat, but I'll break it for Iceland. It's worth it, right? It's okay. Sorry, I joined late. It's no problem. Welcome. All right, friends. So yeah, so I did the wrap up already, right? Yes, house sitting still exists. Yes, you can still do it. No, I wouldn't say house sit right now. Although we just had a couple of women in the chat who just finished 2 house sits. So what do I know? But I'm afraid for you to get stranded somewhere or to take a house sit and then get told that you can't go there, you know. So wait until they tell you it's safe to go. Wait until they say, welcome, Americans. Yeah, so that's what we covered with house sitting. I think it's going to explode, in a good way. Like there'll be way more house sits than there are house sitters. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the future. I feel very hopeful. I'm looking forward to what will happen once this is over, once we've made it through this time. I'm really looking forward to the future. I think that not only those of us who are already planning to do some long-term travel, not only will we be able to get our travel live, but I think a lot of people are being opened up to the idea of, oh, you know what? I have built a whole life around work. I really didn't mean to build my whole life around work. Now that I know I can do things remotely or digitally, let me change that, right? I think that the travel game is going to change. I think that we're going to see a lot of people reevaluating priorities, and this idea that you can live anywhere you want or work anywhere you want is going to be much more prevalent. Yeah, and I'm excited for what's going to happen for me, for you, for all of us. Okay. So Saturday, and I forgot this is really important. Saturday, I am talking with Dr. Aku, clinical licensed psychologist. We're talking about, she specializes, I guess is the word, in helping Black women heal from trauma. We're going to talk about healing from trauma, not only, the trauma of living through this pandemic, but just trauma, the trauma that Black women have, the trauma that Black women have to heal from. We're talking about that Saturday in terms of what a sabbatical can do for you, and just in terms of how to move forward. So I'm super excited about that. That's also going to be live. That's Saturday at 11 a.m. I'll post it everywhere so that so it's not like this one where it was kind of last minute. But I'll post it everywhere so that you don't miss it. I'm really excited to talk to her about it. She's a licensed clinical psychologist in New York, I don't remember, New Rochelle. Is it New Rochelle, New York? Yeah, so I'm really excited to talk to her on Saturday. So I will make sure that everyone who knows, everybody who's subscribed, that you know about it, and that you'll set your reminders, I hope, so you can join us. She's going to be answering questions. It's live. So she's going to be answering questions and talking about, mostly about, or, talking about, among other things, how to heal from trauma. So I'm happy. Okay, friends. Okay, it's hard to let y'all go, but I gotta go. Okay, I hope I will see you again soon. If not Saturday, then sometime soon. Have a great evening.